Hey everyone, we're going to be making a super cool card today using some of the new stamps from the new release for May 2022 from Technique Junkies. All of these new release stamps are on sale now through May 8th for 15% off. This is automatically calculated when you check out. Let them know that Tracy Schultz sent you so that they know that you are watching my video. And for those of you that gotta have it all, there's a bundle set that's available at a discounted price. That's the Gotta Have It All bundle. It's all the new release stamps at almost $25 off the price. So I would definitely say take advantage of that. That's a really good deal. For my card today, we're going to get a little catty. But first, we're going to create our background. And I'm going to demonstrate for you just how versatile this boho background stamp is. It has sort of like these medallions. They kind of remind me of macrame. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and stamp it with cummerbund. I'm going to stamp the entire background stamp. These are high quality red rubber stamps. They make really nice impressions. Now I'm using some catching rays and some chiffon and some boy, I don't know what color I have in my hand right now. Oh, pucker up. So I kind of went through and did a variety of inks. So I'm creating basically a rainbow style background. And you can do this too by just taking your ink pad and inking up the select areas that you want with that color. And it's okay if they overlap. That actually makes it look nice when they overlap. And I have a couple areas that seem a little light, so I'm going back in with some more ink to make them a little bit darker. So that's my first background that I created. I think that I'm a little bit off camera, so I apologize for that. But that's not the background that I'm going to use. So let's go ahead and continue. So I've got VersaFine ink because I am going to be watercoloring. But my watercoloring will be done with my Catherine Pooler inks. And by the way, Technique Junkies does sell Catherine Pooler inks. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to tell you that I have a discount that you can use at Technique Junkies for 10% off your order. And that is TJ10 Tracy. And that is 10% off your non-sale items. So it wouldn't apply to the Gotta Have It All bundle because that bundle is already discounted. But it would apply to all the other fabulous things that are available at Technique Junkies. So I want to go ahead and take my blender marker. This is a colorless marker. And I want to make the cat's nose pink. So I just took a dash of that pucker up ink on my glass mat, and sprayed a little bit of water on that. And basically, voila, watercolor. And you don't have to, have a bunch of different watercolors. If you have dye-based inks, like these Catherine Pooler inks, you've got a world of watercolors at your fingertips. So I started off with Twilight, and then I thought it was a little bit too light. So now I'm using Blackjack. Blackjack is a dark gray, but I know it looks like it's dark right now as I'm coloring in the cat. But it does fade back to a little bit of a lighter color, which is exactly what I was looking for. For some reason, when I saw this cat lady, I thought that was a gray cat. I think gray cats are so pretty, don't you? Yeah, so I'm just going around the cat's eyes with this ink that I'm using as a watercolor, sort of to make it like an outline. You know how some animals have that dark skin around their eyelids. I know my dog does. And I remember when my son was little, he kept saying that our dog was wearing makeup like mommy does around her eyes. But really, it was just the dog's eyes had like a dark to the eye, like the skin around the eyes. Oh, I'm not really making much sense, but you know what I'm talking about. How some animals have that dark eyeliner look. So yeah, I'm just taking this and taking my time, getting into all these details. This is a Tombow blender marker. and it has a nice felt tip. It's pretty firm. And what I'm doing is I just clean it with water when I'm done using it so that I can use other color inks. Now let's go ahead with some more pink, because what we're going to do, we're going to color in her glasses. The cat lady must have hot pink fuchsia glasses. I think red would look cute too, but I was going for pinks and blues and purples here. And this is such an easy technique, and these inks are so vibrant. I don't know if you saw my video. In the past, I've made videos for Technique Junkies where I've ink blended with Catherine Puller inks, and they are super vibrant, super saturated, highly pigmented dye-based inks. So you get a really good result, I think, whether you're stamping with them or this technique, what I call watercoloring with ink. Now I took Cummerbund, and I'm just going around the turban of this cat's turban, the cat lady, and the artist has already naturally shaded in. So that's where I'm going with this blue color. I'm just kind of going where the dark shading is already. And then I'm going to add some purple. So I've got Serene, and that's what I'm going to use to do my purple watercoloring. So I really like this stamp. I think it's a lot of fun. There are a lot of really cute sentiments that Technique Junkies has available that are kind of snarky, and I could just see those sentiments going along with this stamp. But there is a new sentiment that just came out with the new release, and you're going to see me use that on my card today. And it says, "You're perfect," like a cat that purrs. You're perfect. Yep, I'm really pleased how this is turning out, and it will dry lighter. So just remember that when you're working with your watercolor and you're working with your inks to be watercolor, if you're working on something and you're like, wow, that's a little bit darker than I wanted to, have no fear, it'll fade when it dries. So that's kind of the cool thing about it too. Okay, I think the last thing that I did was, after I cleaned my blender, I took some liquid pixie dust. So I add a little bit of water and I shook up this liquid pixie dust, and I took my paintbrush and I painted the turban with this liquid pixie dust. So basically it's a real sparkly mica water. Basically I've turned it into a watercolor here. And then I saved this liquid pixie dust that I have in this jar. I save it and I put a little label on it, and I put liquid pixie dust. That way I know if I ever want to paint anything in the future with a lot of shimmer and sparkle, this is something that I can use. It's pretty much the same concept of like a Wink of Stella pen, but I like having the ability to paint it on with a paintbrush. I know those sparkle pens also have sort of like a brush tip, but I mean, this is a real paintbrush, so I think it just feels a little different. And then I thought, cats have yellow eyes or something like that, but I really couldn't get the yellow to pop on the ink of the eye, so I colored in the outside, like where the whites of the eye would be. I colored that in yellow. So no, my cat is not jaundice. It is just for the effect, so that it looks like the cat has yellow eyes. Okay, so I have my Rabbit Hole Design embossing tool, which is a telescopic tool that has powder built into it. No more little messy powder bags for embossing. I took my Versamark ink pad and I stamped the sentiment. And then I have some real bright pink embossing powder in my stash from Ranger. This is a Wendy Vecchi cactus flower. It is So well matched to Pucker Up. Every time I see it, I think it looks exactly like the color for Pucker Up. Okay, so I'm spilling a little bit. It's not unusual for me to spill embossing powder. Thank goodness it cleans up easy on this glass media mat. So let's go ahead and emboss this, and it says you're perfect. So again, the new release stamps all on sale for 15% off now through May the 8th. Use my code TJ10Tracy for any other thing that you want to order. You'll get 10% off. And don't forget to mention that Tracy Schultz sent you. That way, the folks over at Technique Junkies will know that you're watching and that you were inspired by moi. Okay, so this is another cool trick I love to do. I take my ink and this little piece of paper that I'm using it's going to be a matte layer. I just take my ink and I just swipe it against my paper. And then now I have perfectly matched like a little mat. So this is going to go behind my sentiment. You can also do it for larger pieces of paper. If you're doing a mat behind your stamped image, you could do that too. All right, so off the camera, I stamped the boho background using Pucker Up and Cummerbund. I turned my panel and I got an offset effect. So stamped it once with Cummerbund, turned the panel upside down just like I did just now, and then that's the way I keep turning it over and over again, trying to figure out which way I want it to go. And then I stamped it with Pucker Up. So I've got two different colors stamped on my panel. And I think it makes it just look really cool. It just like reminds me of like some type of hippie beaded curtain or something. It's boho background, so I guess I'm not far off. I've got some foam tape and I'm going to pop up my sentiment. And that's my little hot pink matte layer there underneath. Once I get all the tape off. If you haven't looked at my video, I have a video that I posted on May 1st of the new release cards that I created so far. And then on May the 1st in the evening, I did a live on my channel where I walked you through all of the new stamps and basically the cards that I made, and then made 2 cards live using new stamps from the new collection. So I hope that you'll check that out. Okay, so I have this real pretty pink pearlescent cardstock. I'm taking my die, which is a stitched rectangle die from Paper Rose. I'll run this through my Sizzix machine. And going to use this as basically my matte layer. I also cut that boho background out with that stitched rectangle die so the pattern repeats itself. And I have an A2 card base. I'm just going to glue everything together. I want to say thank you all for taking the time to watch my video. Hold on to the end here. You'll see some still photos of the card that I created, as well as a close-up of the cat lady. If you're new to my channel, would you please subscribe? That way you'll be notified of my upcoming videos. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And leave a comment below. What do you think about the cat lady? Do you have some friends that you would see yourself sending this card to? I love your comments. I read each and every one of them, and they mean the world to me. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.